lad's confidence is down a lot, and he's getting a lot of stick in the media. He gets a lot of stick from me as well. I still don't think he's good enough to be a United defender, but we have him right now, so we need confidence from him right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah.
So he shouldn't be the captain either. That's another story. But yeah, you look happy for him to get the goal. He celebrated moderately, not like last time telling people to
Yeah,
shush,
yeah,
which
yeah,
was
yeah.
good. So he did the right things there. Look, good for him to get the goal. He needs it for confidence, and yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah.
That's all.
Well, listen, I
Yeah.
think there was a problem. I'm going to say, I don't know who's in the chat, if it's just Chris at the moment, that I think there was a problem with the first 5 minutes of the show then. I don't even know if that was up because it's saying there was a problem with it, but it's all reconnected now. So if we missed the intro and that, we apologize, but we're, yeah, Chris is saying I missed the intro. I don't think it went up. I don't know, something was going on with the software, but it's all connected now. So sorry about that, but yeah, so I agree. I like what you said. He didn't shush the crowd and shit this time. It was way better from Maguire. Like, but I actually think Lindelof had a better game than him.
Yeah, he Lindelof. He seems to have more calm and control as a defender than Maguire. I think Maguire's just good aerially,
Yeah.
like with his head, which you need more attributes to be a defender for United. So
Well, we were going to touch on this tonight, so we may as well just get into it now. In your opinion, I mean, I know it's hard to strip a guy of the captaincy during the year, but in your opinion, going forward for, let's say, next year, should Maguire be captain is the first question. And the second question is, should he even be in the starting lineup, in your opinion?
yeah, he should be stripped, and I think there's a lot of better centre backs out there. Do we have better centre backs at the club? I mean, look, probably prefer Varane and Lindelof. I think that's a better combination for me. Um, but look, the manager sees stuff on the training pitch and whatever. But yes, I do believe his starting spot is questionable. But without question, I don't think he's the best captain. I think he's one of the worst captains we've had in a long time.
Worst one I've
So you
seen,
think
and
down
that's
the line
going
of
with Ashley. That's comparing to Ashley Young, and is the worst I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, you go down the line of captains, he doesn't stand next to a lot of them, the Keens and all that sort of stuff. And
Nah, no way.
so, yeah, yeah, he definitely should be stripped to captain. He should give it to a leader. Like I like Bruno. If Ronaldo's still there, I think it's an obvious one. Just because these players are good voice, they get into the ref's face. They try and get around their players. Look, De Gea, he's been there a long time. He just seems a bit shy for me sometimes, which doesn't make him obviously bad choice or anything. But yeah, I'll probably pick Ronaldo if he's still there, then Bruno, and then maybe De Gea if I had to do
Yeah,
a line of
yeah.
captains.
I completely agree. He should be stripped, and I agree he shouldn't be in the starting lineup. I think Lindelof's better than him. I think it should be unless they buy someone, Varane and Lindelof, and the captaincies. I agree with the names you're saying, but I actually would throw Varane in there as well. Like if he's
Mm.
28, he's been there a year at the end of this year, and he's going to be there for another 5 6 years. He's definitely a contender for it as well, I think. But well, Dobster's in the chat saying, "Hey to everyone, how you going, Dobster?" The
He,
big man is there. He's saying the big man is saying Spurs to take fourth spot.
well, they just had a good win against City, didn't
They
they?
did. That was their first win in about 9 years, wasn't it?
Wow, there you go.
Well, yeah, nah. All fun and games with
It's
Spurs,
gonna be
but
a tight. It's gonna be a tight race for
I'm
fourth.
more
So
worried about Arsenal
definitely,
than Spurs, to be honest.
the Arsenal have been playing very
Yeah.
well. So they got games in hand,
Yeah.
and yeah. Mm.
But yeah, no, like yeah, like I said, I totally agree with everything you're saying about Maguire. Dobster is saying we just make KP captain. Yeah, that's how we roll, man.
Better than Maguire.
Better than Maguire. There you go. Yeah, no, but the thing is now, let's say a new manager comes in, no one's going to give us money for Maguire, are they?
I
Or not
mean,
not what we want to recoup any
he's
money.
not gonna go. he's not going to go to a bottom, like, let's say bottom half squad, because he's not going to get his wages. He's not going to accept wage cut of that amount. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Maybe in Everton, if they can sort of match
Well,
enough
they
of his
got you. I
wage.
think you're on pretty nail on the head with that one there. Because they got money at the moment. But does Lampard want a centre back like that? That's slow. I don't know.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, the price tag and the contract that he's probably on, is priced him out of a move for lots of clubs. And does a big club want him in the, you know what I mean? They probably don't. You know, why would you want an unwanted centre back who's pretty much failed more extent,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
United?
definitely.
So he seems to do not too bad for England. Like, I know a lot of the
I think it's
English
because they play
fans.
three at the back though. So
Yeah,
he's covered.
yeah.
He's protected by two around him, then fullbacks, then two midfielders in front of him, like Phillips, Rice, both in front of him at the Euros. And he's got the two fullbacks, Shaw and whoever was playing. I don't know who was playing. James was playing, I think, and then Tyrone Mings and whoever else. He's got people all
Mm,
around him to protect him there. United, you don't have that because you're meant to be on the front foot.
mm. Yeah, definitely. So you do a good point there. So if they play a different system and obviously they play a bit more defensively, help out the defense. Well, I don't know if a better central defensive midfielder will help him out or not, but yeah, I don't know if it's the tactics we use on that. Just it doesn't seem to look like a Man United
Yeah,
centre
I
back,
agree.
really.
Rob says I think Maguire is already on his way down, and I agree with Rob there on that comment. The thing that I say is, I think you hit the nail on the head with your comment there. You said, oh, if they get a defensive midfielder, it might make him better. But they were saying last year if they get another centre back, it might make him better. But the way I see it, to play for teams like United, Liverpool, City, Madrid, Barca, whatever, you shouldn't have to have another player to make you good. You should be good enough
Yeah,
to
that's
play for
correct.
that team and that's it. You shouldn't have to have someone
Mm,
to make you good.
mm.
Like if you're
A
not good
bit
enough
like
to play for those big teams, you're not good enough.
similar to like maybe a Pogba. I know he plays better than Maguire,
Yeah,
obviously
yeah,
for
he
us,
does.
but in France squad and even in that really good Juventus squad, he had those really
He
greats
did.
around
We
him.
had Perlo Matuidi at Juventus, and he's got Kante at um,
Yeah,
France. So
and at us, he's got Fred and McTominay.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
So he's like that, a bit like that. If you put him around world class, he'll be world
Yeah,
class.
yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? So
Well, today, like,
um,
listen, Ranić come out and said, I remember I messaged you during the game when he come off. I was fuming because I thought he was our
who's
best
that?
player. But Ranić come out and said, listen, I'm trying to protect him because he's been out for 6 months or whatever it was.
Pogba.
Yeah, so listen, I see that point of view because we've got
He
Atletico.
bullied that
Oh,
midfield.
he
He
destroyed
bullied.
them today.
He did. Yeah, he
And
bullied him.
McTominay was woeful again. He was probably our worst
Yeah, he
player.
was. He was loose out there, you
I
know what
don't
I
know
mean?
how he
He
stayed on
was
the pitch.
lunging. Yeah, I think he deserved at least a yellow. I
Yeah,
don't know if he
he
ended
got
up
one
getting one
yellow,
or
but
not.
I thought he should have been gone.
Yeah, so he did some,
Oh,
yeah, some pretty bad
and
tackles.
they weren't because of the
I think,
conditions, they were just bad tackles.
yeah, I think he front end hip and shouldered a bloke at
Yeah,
one stage, took right out. I'm like, geez, that's not even a
the way I see it is
tackle.
McTominay is a centre midfielder for Man United, right? 25 years old, whatever. But for his national team, he plays centre back. He can't even get in the midfield for Scotland. And listen, no disrespect to Scotland, they're not the best team in the world, and he can't make that
Mm,
midfield.
mm.
So that's
Which is strange because I don't think he's the best defensive player.
nah, he's
So
not. It's
I don't.
weird.
He reminds me more of you'd have him as a box to
Yeah, I
box
agree.
sort of move around, but yeah, as a central defensive midfielder, not for me,
Nowhere
or a
near.
centre back, not for
Hey,
me.
Reborn is
So
in the chat. He says hello, Reborn. How you going, man?
but yeah, how are you lads?
Oh, the thing was, I actually thought Fred was one of our best players. He only played 20 minutes. I know he scored, and it's easy to say he was a good
Yeah,
player because he scored, but he actually had a really good game when he come on.
yeah. I mean, it was a great finish. You know, he worked even before building the build-up play there as well. Was a part of, I
Yeah,
think. But yeah, he looks good. Like under Enric, he's actually played. He's had a pretty good season, to be
yeah,
fair.
he
Fred,
cops it.
we are yeah, we're a bit critical on Fred over the past couple seasons, but he has stepped it up a bit this season. So um, it's just the McTominay and Fred
They
combination, right?
don't
It's
they
just
don't
not going to be
complement
good
each other,
enough.
do they?
It's not going to win us. It's not going to win us a
Yeah,
title. It's not going to win us a Champions League. It's good enough for maybe to keep scraping top four, but that's it.
yeah,
That's their ceiling.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So you look at City's midfield of De Bruyne.
Fernandinho, Rodri.
Fernandinho's
I mean, they
gone, is
got
he?
Gundogan. They got so many that are
Rodri.
just yeah,
Yeah, these are ballers. You know what I mean? These guys and McTominay is yeah, he's hardworking. He runs non-stop, but he doesn't have the passing, the skill, the vision of these
I
players
know
that
what
we
you
just
mean.
mentioned. So
It's
yeah.
funny. Like I always bring it back to this point. Like Fred, he keeps Fabinho out of the Brazil team at the moment. So he's got to be doing something right.
Mm.
If the Brazil and they smashed their
Mm.
group for the World Cup, like he must be doing something right. So it just bemuses me how he doesn't play well for
You
us.
know, look, as
Oh, of
fans, we're
course.
fickle. You know what I mean? If you start playing really well for consistently, we're going to end up
Yeah,
loving
of
you. We're going
course.
to, you'll be one of our favorite players. But if you play constantly bad or put poor performances in, we'll start saying you're not good
Yeah.
enough. You know what I mean? So Fred's starting to turn heads, and he's actually doing pretty well. And I think, yeah, he's if you put him in the right sort of system, he
I
can
know what you
do really
mean.
well.
I'll put this question to you from Rob. I'll let you answer
Mm.
this one. He says, "Do you think all the players fully understand their roles each game?" Yeah, I agree. I'm
No,
spot
not
on.
yet. No. Sometimes Sometimes we look all over the shop. I don't know if Renwick's instructions aren't bedded in yet. To be fair, he did not get a preseason. He just got given,
Yeah,
what he has to work with and tried to put his own,
yeah,
formation in. But he's not going to have that time because he won't probably get a preseason. So, look, he's just got this next couple months to do what he has to do. And for us, is to finish in the top four and hit the
yeah,
reset button. That's all it is now. So, and I'm a bit skeptical that we'll even make
yeah. I
top
agree.
four, or
Yeah,
if top four is even good for us. So yeah,
yeah. No,
and the
I
answer
agree.
is no,
And
Rob.
then
They
Rob
don't. I
says
don't
Man
think they
City
have.
have no bite in their midfield. It cost them the game against Spurs. That's probably a point too, but I think that they're so powerful in every other area. And then Rob says about what I said about Fred. Brazil play a different style. It's difficult to compare, but the way I'm seeing it is Man United should be playing that style where you're dominating teams. Not, we shouldn't be.
Yeah,
I know it's like you said, it sounds arrogant and that as supporters to say it, but Man United should be dominating games, and that's what we expect. You shouldn't be
yeah,
sitting back and waiting to hit people. Like
yeah.
United were always a counter-attacking team, even under Ferguson, but they counter-attacked that one time someone had an attack and still had 70% possession. It wasn't like it is now. Let's sit back. Like Leeds still had more possession than us.
I mean, these days, look, I think we've touched on it before on previous shows, but if we're drawing and it's the 70th minute, you're
Yeah,
worried that we're going to get maybe one or
yeah,
two chances. Do you know what I mean? But under Fergie, you just knew there's going to be a dozen chances in the next 20 minutes going to come our way. You don't feel confident as you with this United squad that it's the 90th
yeah,
minute, we're going to
exactly.
create a chance. So yeah, so it is a bit, we expect it because we had it so good for so long under Ferguson. So, but look, with the amount of money we spend, we should be dominate. We should be dominating
Yeah,
teams
of
just like
course.
Man City are. And I know Rob touched on Man City have no bite in the midfield, but I think it's one of those games where
Yeah.
they have a blimp. You know what I
I
mean?
think if they
That's what
played that
Man City
game
do.
again next week, they'll smash Spurs 5-0.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So all good teams have a blip,
Yeah,
and
well, like
that's probably
it's
what it is for them.
the table doesn't lie, does it? I mean, they're top for a reason, so there's not much more you can say, and they've done it pretty much without a striker, so he's doing something right. But
Yeah,
I was so. Do you
that's
think
right.
that was
So
was that Harry Kane putting himself in the window for them?
well, I don't know. What's the rumors? Is he
Apparently he
wanting to
is. If they
leave
don't make
this
top
year,
four, he's
or
dead set he wants to leave. Apparently, that's what I've heard, but who knows?
Well, he's getting to that age where he needs to either move now or never, really. So for that one big, I think
Yeah,
he's
around that.
28, is he? 29? So you got one decent move in you.
Yeah.
So
Well, the way I see it is you look at, let's say, compare him to Alan Shearer, right? At least Shearer can always fall back and say, I won one title with Blackburn. At least I won a title. What if Kane,
yeah,
okay, can break all these records, but if he never wins anything, he's probably going to be in that category of like Matt Letizia. Yeah, he was really good, but he didn't do anything. He didn't win nothing. So
mm,
what was your career for?
yeah. If he goes to City,
He's going
you've
to
got a
win
great
something.
chance of
He'll win
getting
a
a
trophy
title.
of some
So
sort, you know.
yeah,
So then Rob says, my question relates to
yes,
week to week coach needs to explain to each player what their role will be for the forthcoming match. Rangnick is with them every day, as is every other coach. That's true. I actually think they were pressing more last night on Rangnick's game plan, so that could be coming in. I don't know.
yeah. They're working hard. Yeah, there was a lot of
Yeah,
slide tackles going on.
they're working hard. And
They're
then
working
Rob says,
hard.
Man
They're
City had
working
more
hard.
possession than Spurs. Mourinho master at it. It's about understanding your game plan and knowing how to react to adverse conditions. That's very true. The thing is, even with him at the, Mourinho is, if the players play for him, he can have 10% possession and win a game. But if they're not playing for him, he's done. You know what I mean? Like, it's if the
Yeah,
players, they
that's
don't
right.
seem as on board as much these days, the current players, I don't know. But, and then Rob says, Harry Kane's through ball for the first goal was world class vision and he's 28. Yeah, what that ball destroyed Man City. It just split them in half. It was crazy.
Yeah, he's actually got a creative part of his play. You know what I mean? I've seen him put some great crosses in
Well, they
before and
reckon in
some
his
great
early
passes in the
days he
past.
went on
So
loan to Norwich and he was loaned as a number 10, not as a striker. So,
right,
that's the.
yeah,
But
yeah,
so we touched on the game. Like we said, we're happy about it. We both agreed that we think Maguire. So this is the last question I ask about Maguire. We've both said we think he should be stripped at the end of the year. Like I said, it's hard to strip a captain mid-year unless he's done something really. But
yeah.
I think Ole, going back to Ole, really missed a trick at the start of the year when Maguire got into all that trouble in Greece. You remember when that happened? He should have just stripped him
Mm,
then. Listen, you've done this, you've done some
yeah, that's
bad things
right.
over
I
there,
mean,
you're done.
the year got
Yeah,
stripped
way
for
less,
less. You know what
exactly.
I mean? So
So the last question
mm,
on Maguire, I'll say to you is, do you think his time's up at United? Do you think someone will come in, or do you think he'll be there next year? What are your thoughts?
I think he'll be there next year because I don't think anyone will actually come in. If we try and put him on the market, would have to
I
obviously
think we'll be
take a
taking
huge
half. I think it'll
loss
be half,
and
even less. Yeah,
even less than that. So, and we might have to subsidize wages because depending what team he goes to. So it'll be a similar to like a
yeah, yeah,
Sanchez sort of
100%.
get rid of sort of thing, just get him out the club. Um, but look, I don't. I heard there's unrest, a lot of unrest coming from the club between Maguire, Ronaldo, and a few others at the moment. I don't know if they're true or not, but I've heard a bit of rumours through the United stand and all that. But I don't know if Maguire's on the same level as a winning mentality as like a Ronaldo and Bruno want to be. Um, but yeah, I think he will
Yeah,
be season just because we
yeah,
can't
I
move him
agree.
on.
Well, the
Yeah.
way I see it is, if I was a young player in that change room, and I know it sounds bad like saying it and that, but if Ronaldo's talking and Maguire's talking, who are you going to listen to? And I know it sounds bad saying that, but Ronaldo's won everything. He has
Mm.
literally won
You listen
everything.
to it now.
So you're going to listen to him just
Mm.
naturally. It's you're always going to
Yeah.
listen to your captain, but if you see him out there and he's not playing and he's playing so bad, it makes you question your captain. Because I've had that situation when there's a captain that was probably a bit of a teacher's pet. He was playing really bad, and you sort of lose respect for him because you're like, well, if you can't carry yourself, how are you meant to carry us?
See, a lot of these players, like even Bruno says, he's a huge fan of
He's a big his
Ronaldo. You know what
idol.
I mean? These guys were these guys were, young teenagers when Ronaldo
Of
was
course,
in
of
his
course.
prime. You know what I mean? So they grew up watching Ronaldo. Now they're playing with him, and
Yeah, of
of
course.
course they're going to listen to Ronaldo. So
I mean, he's his captain on the
not
national team,
Maguire,
isn't he?
but
So
yeah. So I think Ronaldo's obvious choice if he stays. Yeah, for me, I would just pass
yeah, it's
the
like
baton on to Ronaldo. If I was Maguire, I would pass the baton on. You'd probably get more respect from
I
United
actually
fans if you
agree.
did
I
that.
100% agree, man. That's what I would do if I was in his situation now in such bad form. You would get so much respect from the group and
Mm,
everything, and the fans if you said, "Listen, I want to focus on my game. You lead the team." And
mm.
then did an interview and said, "Listen, I
Yeah,
just want to focus on being the best I can for Man United." Everyone will love it.
yeah. I mean, his
Oh,
popularity would rise because of just that. He realizes
yeah,
himself it's a weight on his shoulders, and he wants to pass it to an experienced Ronaldo who's
that's
been
right.
been around it all.
Well,
He's
I
done it
saw
all.
this thing they were talking about it. They're like, if
Mm,
you actually sit there and compare him to the rest of the centre backs in the league, so Varane is the best centre back at the club, so he's not better than Varane. It's arguable, like we said, if he's better than
yeah,
Lindelof. You look at Chelsea, they play three at the back, and all three of their centre backs are better than him. Rudiger, Silva, and
mm,
Aspilicueta, they're all better than him. So that puts him already fifth,
mm.
sixth best in the Premier League. Then you look at Liverpool. He's not better than Van Dijk, obviously, or Matip or Konate. So like, you're not winning a title with that guy, are you? Like it's just
No.
that's all I got to say. If he's not
Yeah.
um good enough to be in the top 10 of centre backs in the whole league, where are you going with him? What.
Yeah. He doesn't
No way.
command 80 million pound, you know what I mean? So it's yeah, United, they've dug
Oh,
themselves a
big
hole there,
time.
and that's what it is,
Big
so
time. So,
yeah.
I mean, like, the next thing that we can touch on is you sent me this message the other night, and I wanted to, I've wanted to talk about it for ages. Yeah, I will. I'll get it up. I'll
Can
get
you
the
read the
quote up.
quote?
So,
Can you read the quote?
we want to talk about what Fletcher's role is at the club, right? So, the quote was Darren Fletcher's
That's
role at the
Darren
club. So, the
Fletcher.
quote was they asked Ralph Ranić in an interview, what is Darren Fletcher's role? And he said this in an interview. He said, what is the role in the regard to the club? I don't really know. To be honest, I can only tell you what is happening in training sessions, around training sessions, and games in those areas. It's good to have him on board. So you got this guy that's sitting there on the sideline barking orders.
He's literally
Yeah,
sitting next
like
to
an
him in the
assistant
dugout.
manager.
Like he's
And he's admitted that he has no idea what his role at the club is. What are your thoughts on that? That's
I mean, you sum it up in one word. I'll just say shambles. But
like,
it's just like, well, in Ollie's tenure, Darren Fletcher was never down in the stands,
no,
like
no
in
way.
the on the boundary line, or whatever. He was in the backdrop, but as soon as Ollie got the sack, he was all of a sudden sitting next to Renrick all the time. So you'd think Ralph would know his role because he's sitting next to him during game day and
Yeah,
everything like that.
exactly.
So it just goes to show that the communication in the club is just horrendous. Like a club like Manchester United, and you got a former player sitting next to you during game day talking to you through the
Yeah.
game, and you don't know his role. It's crazy. It's just crazy. So I find it hilarious, and it just seems like you know, oh, you play for United, we'll
It's
find
like
a
a
role
boys'
from you
club, isn't it?
somewhere around here. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean. It just amplifies that
Yeah.
statement. You know what I mean?
Robert said maybe he's an interpreter. Ranić can't speak English, but we know he can speak English because he does the interview. Like that's so. Rob's having a laugh about it too. Like legit, like as a coach, I'd put that to Rob. Rob's a coach. If you were sitting there as a coach and some guy's talking to you about the game, giving you insights to the game, whatever, and you have no idea who he is, what his role is, and Rob has said, why would Ranić admit that? I said this to John the other day. I think Ranić has admitted it because he knows he's not going to be the manager next year, and he's just thought, well, I'll just say the truth. That's what I think. That's what I think. He knows he's not going to be the manager, and he's like, I'll just tell the truth so people can see how much of a shambles it is.
You wonder what Darren Fletcher feels about that statement. Like, this bloke
he's pretty much said, I don't know who you are. That's what he said.
I don't know who you are. It's just that it's like that one bloke who comes to your, an amateur game, just helps out out of nowhere, and you know, who's that bloke over there?
What's his name's cousin?
What's his face? He always rocks up. yeah, he's all right. Good bloke.
Yeah, just that. Hearing that, it was just, I can't believe it. Like Robert said, maybe Ranić was told to have a director of football at his side. Maybe, I don't know. Like it's
not even.
I think he's meant to be the technical director. They've said Fletcher. What does that even mean?
Whatever that is.
And then they said the other one is not a director of football. He's a football director. What does that mean? He directs the footballs. He gets them and puts them in. What does that even mean? I don't. I'm being legit. I don't know what it means. Like,
oh, they come up with these roles. I don't know. It is what it is. Good for them. You got a job and a high-paying job, but I don't know what you
exactly, do. So exactly. Hey, listen, you're getting paid millions, and we'd have no idea what you do.
It's just hilarious from Ralph. I mean, good on him. You know what I mean? To speak the truth and say, I don't know who is. He's just good to have.
See, Rob has said this is what I'm saying. Rob has said this. Is agreeing with you. Even professional respect would warrant a polite comment of he's assisting something. Because he's pretty much said, I have no idea what he does. I don't know who he is, but he's talking to me every day. Like,
I mean, you feel pretty shitty right now if you're a Darren and you're like, fuck, I'm a nobody to this bloke.
But what I don't get is if he's got an assistant manager and he's got this, why is he there? It makes no sense to me. If he's not a coach, he's not an assistant manager, why is he on the sidelines? When I'm playing, I don't sit there and listen to the president of the club. Like it's...
Yeah. It just goes to show the communication between manager and board and stuff like that. In Man United, there's not much communication. If you can't even communicate what Darren Fletcher's role towards the team is, then, they got to fix this communication between the board and the manager and the staff to start working in cohesion and working together and bringing in the right players and everything like that. Because obviously, even a little thing like this, just goes to show that they're not communicating well and they're not gelling as a club in a whole for it to work. So it's pathetic,
Rob
really.
Said, did Ranić bring any of his people? The assistant manager now, I don't know his name. He worked with him previously somewhere, but he was in the MLS and he brought him over. So that guy, I think he's got a shaved head. He's someone that he brought in. So, and I think he brought in another coach as well. So he has brought in some people.
Yeah.
The question that I ask now, so after that is, let's say whoever comes in, Pochettino's, Ten Hag, Enrique, whoever it is, do they have to come in and say, listen, to the Glazers, listen, I'll take this job, but my people are sitting on the sidelines, my coaches, my staff, whatever. Darren Fletcher's not going to be there. And if he's there, I'm not taking the job. Do they have to be this stern?
I think they have to. I think the club should open their eyes and be that stern themselves, because it has not worked in the past. Like you got Mourinho in and you've pretty much, he lost his man and his assistant at the time, and you made him sorry the words, but you gave him an assistant. Probably wasn't his first choice in McKenna and Carrick. So you need if you're gonna hire a manager, whoever it is, you have to back them in the staff they want. You need to let them bring their team in. And after that, you need to listen to the players that they need and into the system that fits them. And don't get them their fifth or sixth choice. Try and get them their first or second. And don't buy the shiny toy in the window. Just listen to that. Listen to your scouts. And yeah, pick the right players for the right the right squad. It feels like our squad is like a Frankenstein squad, just getting bits and parts together to see if it will work and fit. So, yeah, whatever manager comes in, it has to be stern. But we've touched on it a little bit before. You get offered the Man United job, some of them just going to agree. Yep, I'll do that. I'll do that. I'll do that just to get the job. You know what I mean? So.
I think you hit the nail on the head with the Mourinho thing, and I
man.
always bring it back to that. He finished second, won a Europa Cup. His assistant retires. He gets given Carrick and McKenna. He's sacked in 6 months. So obviously the assistant is important because Ferguson used to say he always wanted the best assistant for him. The assistants are important. You go back to even the days with Brian Clough. He always wanted his assistant. And when he didn't have his assistant at Leeds, he struggled. And this is going back to the 70s, you know what I mean? So it's important to have the staff. So Rob says most high-profile coaches do say their appointment comes with their people, could be up to 10, including physios, psychologists, etc. And then he says that's why some high-profile coaches say no to certain offers. I think that's why Conte rejected Tottenham at the start of the year, because they didn't want to bring in whatever. And then when they were desperate, they were like, yeah, we'll do whatever. And he took the job pretty much. So.
Yeah, we missed the boat on Conte, I do believe. But
don't think it's set in stone that we've missed the boat on Conte. You know what? The way he's talking, I watched an interview with him the other day. I don't see him there at the end of the year.
I mean, Daniel Levy is not the best.
I actually see him quitting.
Either,
the way he's talking, I see him quitting at the end of the year. And the reporters in England have been saying that as well.
Wow.
But the thing is, Fabrizio Romano was saying it about him. He was saying the way, he goes, I know Antonio is friends with him. He goes, the way he is, he goes, if he's not happy with something, he will quit. He doesn't care about the paycheck. He will quit. And you can tell he's not happy with Levy because Levy promised him more in January already. He didn't get it.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see if he comes on the market as well as a free agent, and Pochettino and obviously Ten Hag and Enrique have got ties at the moment. You know what I mean? So if he does go on the market and is a free agent, you'd have to look at the option, wouldn't you? So.
Rob says a great coach also recognises the quality or lack of in their squad and makes do. Examples: Ranieri, Allardyce, Moyes. Look at him with West Ham. He's, struggled with us, but he's ripping it with them, isn't he? So.
Yeah. You get your team playing as a team. You get them to believe in what you're selling. You know what I mean? You get results. So, but like I'll go back to Ferguson as a model. You know what I mean? Like he would give you a chance, and if it didn't suit, you were gone. You know what I mean? Like you had to fit his system, and you had to. So, yeah, we're just not that type of ruthless in our squad anymore. And
Rob is agreeing with me about Conte.
Hopefully, we get.
He says Conte ripped through the players after those recent losses. He doesn't really care if he gets a sack. He said he will quit, and then he said lots of talk about Ten Hag at the moment. So. I mean, he's on everyone's lips, isn't he, Ten Hag?
Well, I know. Yeah, he's got an awesome name, but honestly, I haven't seen his style, and I haven't watched the Dutch league at all. You know what I mean? So I'm going to try and watch some Champions. They're in the Champions League, aren't they? Yeah, so I'm going to try and watch a bit of Ten Hag's style of play in the Champions League over the next couple of days. And I'll keep a good eye on him because I sort of know how Pochettino plays, and I'm not the biggest fan of Pochettino's style. But look, he can play good football, but I would like to see Ten Hag style as well.
But you were
definitely.
Going back, let's say 5 years ago, you really wanted Pochettino then.
I did. I did. What was
Maybe I
it when
can't, I
he
can't remember when
just
it was,
went
but
to
I remember you
Spurs
were
or
strong for
his
him
first
then.
season? Yeah, I thought this guy's a good manager. You know what I mean? I think
Yeah,
after his first maybe year at Spurs, I started really paying attention to Pochettino. Um, obviously I'm not as hyped as I was, but because it's not the whole thing that he hasn't won anything. Um, I just know, I probably hear a lot of negativity through other
yeah, yeah.
YouTubers
I
and
know what you
stuff,
mean.
I guess.
Well, listen, the
Get
way I see
persuaded,
it,
I
he's damned if
guess.
he does, he's damned if he doesn't. Pochettino, like, even if he wins the Champions League this year, people are going to turn around and go, "Oh, well, he should have won it. He had Messi and Mbappe and Neymar." And then if he doesn't win it, they're going to go, "Oh, he failed." So I sort of feel sorry for him. It's
Yeah,
a poison chalice, that job, just as much as Man United, PSG is.
definitely. Well, we all know that he wants the
I
job.
think
He's
so.
always wanted the United job. So yeah, it does. To me, it does feel that Pochettino is going to be the man. I know there's a lot of talk of Ten Hag and all that, but I just feel like United, it'll be a bigger story for them to sell. Unless Conte becomes a free agent, it'll be Conte will hit the headlines just as much as Pochettino. So it's all about PR spin with Man United and selling, internet stories and papers and Instagram,
Yeah.
whatever, to make the money. And we're just
Yeah.
sadly a business, and maybe Ten Hag is the better choice in the
Yeah.
end. Maybe, you know what I mean? So, but they'll go for the biggest
Yeah.
name that they can
Well,
get on the paper.
Rob is
So,
let's say he's a native. He's an Ajax fan, and he said Ajax are killing it. They've played 23, scored over 60 goals, only conceded 5 in the league. Tadic has a free role. Target man Hala is big, strong, two-footed African with quicker players feeding off of him. So he's saying, they got a good, but
Hala.
I'm like you. What I like about what you said is I think there's people that don't want to admit what you admitted. Oh, I haven't really seen much of him because it's impossible. You're a United fan, whatever. There's not many people that you can't watch every game of football, can you? You know what I mean? And some of these,
No, no.
like it's hard, like and people just don't want to admit it
It's
that
hard enough
they
keeping up
probably
just the
haven't
Premier
seen them
League.
play.
Yeah. It's like players that we get linked with. They're, oh, he's such a great
Yeah,
player. I'm like, what have you
yeah,
seen? How much have you seen of him?
yeah. Like Rob said, Ajax
So,
regroup really
you know,
quickly rather than high press, then move together. So it's a bit of different than a press. They just get back in shape, let's say. I think Ten Hag will be more
mhm.
successful
I
in
mean,
France
I'm
or
hearing
Spain
great
than England,
things.
he's saying.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, is it a big jump going from AX to United? It might not be that big. I mean, I even heard the name
Yeah, don't want him.
Potter getting mentioned the last few days.
Don't want him.
I mean, he's doing well at Brighton, but I don't think that's an even bigger step
Well,
going
you
from
know what
AX
I
to
don't get is
United than
people
Brighton to
were saying, like, I
United.
heard people saying I'd take Potter over Pochettino. I mean, really? Like, really? Seriously? Like, why is
It's,
Pochettino's
it just
name so
it
tarnished?
just
How is
reminds
Potter better than him?
it just reminds me of when they wanted what's his face from Leicester.
Rogers. Look at
Uh,
them now.
Rogers, and now Rogers isn't doing. Yeah, you know what I mean. And now if you say, "Oh, we'll get Rogers," then everyone will be like, "Nah,
Well,
no,
he's in the
no."
mud at the moment, isn't he? Like, they lost last night. Like, you know.
Yeah, he reminds me
Yeah.
of an almost
Yeah,
manager.
definitely.
Is an almost manager.
Rob says watching some of the German teams,
Yeah.
they've been too, I don't know if he's saying, yeah, too inconsistent lately. He's saying, oh, I agree. They have been. Dortmund got thumped in the at home, didn't they? By, I can't remember who it was now. I'll find it. I'll find it. Rob says Potter rather have Harry Potter. I'll find it. They got smashed at home, Dortmund. Let me find it quickly.
Rob's in Dreamland. He's got Pep Guardiola, and he still
I know,
finds
to be
ways
upset.
to um
Yeah, yeah, I
not
know.
be
Oh, so
upset
they
with
got
Pep.
done at home in Germany by Rangers 4-2. Dortmund, yeah, they got smacked.
Oh
So,
wow.
and Aubameyang scored a hat trick for Barca last night. So, I don't know if Arsenal, missed the boat there a bit with him because I mean he's obviously a decent player.
Arsenal have been playing
Yeah,
pretty well, so I don't know. I think it was time to part ways with
yeah. I think it was
Aubameyang.
just
So
a few.
uh, yeah, and I think Aubameyang League, Barcelona,
Oh,
it's
definitely,
going to give him a
definitely. Listen,
boost. So
he's always been a goal
I wouldn't be
scorer.
too
So
worried. I haven't followed Martial's progress yet in Seville.
they
I
won
haven't
both
heard
games. I think
much.
he got an assist last game. They were saying, but yeah, they're 4 point. They're still same. They're in the title race. They're like the closest challengers at the moment. So listen, I hope Sevilla win it because he's there.
And, and Donny had a
He had a
good
real
game
good game. Yeah,
against,
the
is it
first
Leeds?
game they lost
Donny?
the other night against who did they lose to? They got done. They got done 3-1, I think, the other night. Yeah, but he had a good game the first game. But he's playing. At least he's playing. That's what we want to see.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and maybe help everything
Yeah, yeah. I think they'll
save
survive. I think
their
Newcastle
save
are
their
going to
club.
survive now. I think the three that are at the bottom are gone. That's what I think. They won, but
Well,
I think they're
Burnley got
just
to
too
win.
far gone.
Yeah, yeah. Well, my father-in-law's a
Yeah,
Leeds
I want
man.
them to
Very
go
worried
down.
at
I'd
the
rather
moment.
Watford come up.
He's trying to
Oh,
convince
yeah,
my
calm
son
down.
he's going to be a Leeds fan. My
Yeah, exactly.
over my dead body.
Leeds.
So
Come on.
yeah,
Leeds. They're still living in the Don Revy days.
yeah. Oh, terrible.
That's terrible.
Well, a lot of good Aussies played there when they had that good killer team. Was
Yeah,
it
good
Duke
kill.
of Kill
Listen, they
at
did.
the
They
time?
listen.
They had a ripper team then. If you look back, Ferdinand was in the
Yeah, at the
team, I
top. Yeah,
think.
for a couple of years. Yeah.
Lee
Yep.
Bowyer,
They had
Lee
Olivier
Bowyer.
Decor. They had a good team. They did have.
I think Robbie Keane was there. Was
He was
he?
there. Yeah, for a
No.
year or two, I think, because they showed a clip when Eric Cantona double-footed him. Or Beckham, sorry, Beckham, and he pushed Beckham in the face the other night. He was there for a little bit, Robbie Keane, yeah. So Rob says it's
Yeah, there you
Burnley
go.
versus Spurs this Thursday, so we want Burnley to win. There you go. Real
Yeah,
Betis
go
third,
Burnley.
Manuel Pellegrini working wonders. He's
Oh,
still
that
going.
bloke, is he still
Rob says
around?
only 2 goals to Aubameyang. The other one came off his ass when his back was turned. Hey, doesn't matter. Striker take anything, man. You gotta take every goal. You gotta take everything.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's not the easiest league, the Premier League. You know what I mean? You can see we get these high profile managers come into the league and fail, and then
And
they
they
go
do
back to
well.
Spain or Germany and they blitz. Yeah. So for me, it's the hardest league in the world, and you got to be the best
Yeah,
on
I
your
think
game
so.
all
I
the
think so
time.
at the moment, like with say you look at the top seven. Let's just say look at the managers. Guardiola, Klopp, Conte are all in the same league, and they're arguably three of the best five managers in the world. So that just tells you it,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
yeah,
That's you know.
yeah,
So
definitely.
shows you that it's a hard league and that. But I mean, before we, yeah, that's what
So
I
we
was going
got
to go to.
Atletico.
Before we go,
We got Atletico.
Atletico this week. What are your predictions? I
Where are we
think the
playing?
first game is. Let's have a look. I'll get it out. Wednesday. We're playing Thursday morning away in Spain. First game.
Okay. Well, I've heard
Nah, they're
Atletico haven't been
struggling.
traveling that well.
Yeah,
They're struggling. So
yeah.
two struggling
I think they're
teams.
struggling more than us.
They still have
Yes. Yep.
Griezmann and
Oh, they've had a couple wins, but they're
Suarez. They got Suarez as
yes. Well, but
well.
he's been struggling. I think. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
getting
well,
on.
he's how old Suarez now? So, yeah. Well, look, Simeone's a tough manager. You know what I mean. So he'll set up his team difficult for
Yeah.
United to break down. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be a tough. I think it's a 50-50 game in my eyes. To
Yeah.
win this over two legs. Obviously, I'm praying for United to win, but yeah, it's a hard fixture, very hard fixture, and I can't pick
Yeah,
for sure who would win this. You know what I mean? So I can see us
yeah.
conceding, but I can
Well,
see
I
them
mean, they got
conceding.
a
But yeah,
Simeone and Ronaldo got it like a vendetta against each other, so that's going to be interesting. Last time they played,
yeah,
Atletico Madrid beat
mm,
Juventus
mm,
2-0, and then he did that gesture to Ronaldo. And then in the return leg, Ronaldo scored a hat trick and kicked him out and then did the gesture back to him. So they obviously
yeah,
don't like each other, but that's what makes the world game good, isn't it? Rob says Man United will win away 2-1. You know what? I'm going with Rob. I reckon United get the win away. Don't know the scoreline, but I reckon we'll win. Yeah, I reckon we'll win.
yeah. So that's
I
Thursday
just got
morning.
this feeling. I don't know why.
Well, yeah, look, yeah. I'm gonna go for a win as well. I think winning against Leeds would do us a bit of confidence. Same
We
with
have Varane
Maguire
back.
because
Pogba
Maguire
came
will
off
start
70th
this
minute. He'll be
game.
fit.
Yeah, so I think the game will give them a bit of confidence, and I think they'd realise
Yeah,
this is the only thing that they got a shot of winning, which will give them some sort of confidence, even
yeah,
though it's probably false confidence that would win the Champions League. But in their minds is look, Ralph should say, look, this is what we can win, lads. I know it's a hard task,
yeah,
but we could knockout stage, anything can happen. Give it your all, and
yeah.
Ronaldo
Well,
will
it's his
really.
competition, isn't it?
Ronaldo loves the Champions League nights, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
yeah, and he'll be pushing his lads,
yeah,
as a captain, even though he won't be captain, to really get an effort out of these boys. And
yeah.
yeah, I think I'm with you guys. I think we'll get a win.
Well, Rob has
Yeah,
touched on
definitely.
what you said. He said CR7 will not settle for nothing less than a win. He will play out of his skin against Atletico. And I actually agree. I don't think either it might not be there
Yeah,
or one of the games he's going to grab by the scruff of the neck. I don't know if it's going to be in Spain or England, but one of those games he's going to take charge. I agree. I agree with that. Don't know if it's, but one of them he's going to show what he's all
yeah,
about. That's what I think.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, nail on the head because he loves the Champions League. He'll have nothing more than to
Yeah,
with with United again, but
but
it's a
that's what he
big
wants,
ask
isn't
with
it?
the teams that are in there, obviously. But it's
Of
knockout
course we
stages.
have.
We've seen miracles happen before, and you know, we still are
Of
Manchester
course.
United. So
Rob says, I think sometimes it's
anything
more
can happen.
fundamental. Pogba and CR7 want to perform well on larger stage. And I agree with that. Like, I think the perfect thing was, the Man City game the other night. Harry Kane's been having a bad year, but it was probably the biggest game of the year for him against Man City,
Mm,
and he showed up. You know what I mean? Like, and that's
mm,
sometimes what
that's right.
defines a big game player, a good player. Show up on the big game. Don't score against Burnley and no disrespect to them, but show up on the big stage. And I think that's what Ronaldo. I agree. I think Pogba is. He might not be here next year, but I think he's vital to us to the end of the year.
I wonder if Rob can answer this question. Do you think is Pep a failure if he
Can
doesn't
I
bring the
answer that
Champions
before
League
Rob?
to City?
I think he is, and I reckon Rob will
Yes.
agree. I think if he doesn't
Yeah.
win the Champions League, listen, not a full-on failure, but there's an element of failure there if he doesn't win the Champions League. With how much money he's spent and that's been their goal, and considering he got to a final as well, I think there's an element of failure there, big time. Even with Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich are meant to win
Is
the
this?
league in Germany, aren't they? And he didn't win the Champions League. He won the
Yeah.
league, yeah, okay, but they win the league every year.
So you see that manager that you just bring in for the Champions League. You know what I mean? Is that his legacy to
But what's
bring
he?
in?
He's only
He's
won two, hasn't
the
he?
man to do it. But yet he failed at he failed at
Exactly. So he's
Munich
won
and
two
PSG,
Champions Leagues.
and
Mourinho's
now
won two. How many's Ancelotti won? Rob might have three or four, hasn't he? Definitely three. So
I'm not
three
for
or
sure. I
four
think three
Ancelotti.
definitely.
Ferguson won two. Like I said, Mourinho's won two. Like Klopp could win another one.
Mm.
Tuchel could win another one. We don't,
Yeah.
Pochettino could be a Champions League winning manager after this year.
Matteo
Yeah,
won a bloody Champions
yes,
League.
exactly, exactly, exactly. So, I mean, I think he should have won more
Yeah.
Champions Leagues than he has with the squads he has. Rob has answered your
Well,
question.
look,
He said, Pep brought to win the UCL at Bayern and City. Jupp's Heynckes outshone him at Bayern the year later, which he did. And Mancini and Pellegrini won the EPL and the FA Cups as well, he's saying, which is true. So,
so
it's true.
he, so, do you think he's assembled the best Man City team then
Probably,
over his
probably.
four
But the
or 5 years?
Mancini team was pretty good too. I mean, they spanked us at Old Trafford, the Mancini team. Like, that was a pretty good team
Yeah,
too. And Mancini,
yeah,
obviously, like, he's went on to win the Euros with Italy. He's obviously a good coach. So they were a good
yeah.
team too. I mean, but it probably is the best lineup, yeah? Rob is saying Ancelotti's won three. So yeah, three. That's what we said. So, you know,
Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Well, there you go. Look, I'll be happy. It's just funny, the standards of United. You know what I mean? Where if a manager comes in and just wins a title with us, there's
yeah,
instant success, and that's it. Pep is like the Man City guy is like, he's winning leagues,
they haven't won
and
leagues forever.
it's a it's
Yeah, I know.
it's a
I know.
failure.
I know. It's funny. It's funny.
So yeah, it's just like I think that's like where Man United were. Like if you'd come in after Fergie and you don't win the league or
Yeah, yeah, of
title
course.
challenge, you're a failure. And now it's top four. So the bar has definitely gotten lower with fan
Yeah.
and club for
Rob
us
says so. Like
alike.
you said, you said
Yeah.
Rob always finds he can find the bad in Pep, and he's a Man City fan. But he says Pep has not the right balance in his honest opinion. That's what he's saying. So maybe that's why he doesn't. Maybe that's why he doesn't win the
He made a
Champions League because he
mistake.
doesn't have the right balance.
He made that mistake in the league Champions League final. He
What
didn't
was it? He
play
changed his
someone
formation,
or
didn't he? He got yeah. That's what it
he
was.
changed something. Yeah. Yeah. So that
I
was
think he
quite
had
strange.
Aguero
So
all the way up
um,
until the final playing, and then he went dropped him and played a false nine. So I mean
yeah, yeah.
that's a mistake, isn't it? Like
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you don't
that's right.
fix
So
what's not
Rob,
broken, I
before we
guess.
get
So.
on, we'll read Rob's last one. He says Man City have no midfield grafter, too many midfield pretty boys, no goal scoring centre forwards, and out wingers, which is probably true about them. But yeah,
Just
I
wish we
know,
could trade
I know.
trade boots.
I agree with the
It's
midfield.
just,
I think they were better.
I love
Yeah, I
I
know.
love the bits, and
I
yeah,
think they were
he's
better let's say 2 years ago when what Rob is saying, they had Fernandinho instead of Rodri because he's a bit of a grafter. That's me personally, but
yeah.
I mean, other than that,
Mm,
y-
yeah. Well, I'm always shocked when I see Man City lose. That's I think where
yeah,
Pep has
that's right. That's
got
right.
Man City to my mind. You see Man City versus someone, you automatically
Listen, I'm
think
shocked
City's got
when,
this. So a bit like how United
of
United
course,
were in the earlier days, and yeah, now it's Man
dude, I'm
City's
shocked
turn,
when both of them
unfortunately.
lose, City and Liverpool. And I mean,
So
it pains me to say because they're our biggest rivals, but when either of them lose, it shocks me. Like, you know. But on that note, we pretty much touched on everything, so we can call it. And thanks for everyone for coming in. Me and Johnny will be back next week, I'm sure, and we'll have a Champions League tie to talk about, and probably another. I think we're playing Watford that morning, Monday morning, so we'll have two games to talk about, and yeah,
beautiful.
let's hope we can get a couple wins before we come back. Rob says Fernandinho still world class. No decent header of the ball from midfield or forwards. He
Yeah, he's a
likes
good player.
small guys. Does like small guys. I'll give that
Yeah,
in the forward
yeah,
line, which is
yeah.
true. Listen, you know who I love at Pains, but I'd never like saying I love them. But De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva, I'd take them in a heartbeat.
Oh, top talents, top
Them two.
talents.
That sets me have them. I'll just take them. Like
Yeah,
I
it's,
don't
it's
care
like
they
they
play for Man
replace
City.
the young Silva from the old
Yeah,
Silver and
Bernardo's so good.
because David Silver was a great
Oh, he
player
was
for
good
them
too,
as
yeah.
well.
But yeah,
Yeah.
on that note, we'll see you on the next one, guys. Take it easy.
Thanks, guys. Peace out.